Rukus Avenue Radio.
Hello, I'm Aarti Kaushal Chopra, and you're listening to Rukus Avenue Radio.
Namaste and hello, Rukus Avenue Radio listeners. This is your Rukus Avenue Radio correspondent, Priyadarshini G. Roy. We are live today via Zoom for the Activate Your Listening special to highlight the founder of B Sanskriti Legacy, Aarti Kaushal Chopra. Aarti, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Priyadarshini. Thank you so much. Much love to you and to Rukus Avenue Radio.
Yes, it's a pleasure having you. And without further ado, I'm going to dive right in because we have a very special guest and we're here to highlight the special work that she's doing with B Sanskriti Legacy. So first and foremost, Aarti Kaushal Chopra is a conscious educator, founder, president of B Sanskriti Legacy, creative artist, events director, mental health advocate, next-gen woman and youth influencer, appointed City of Irvine official childcare committee, and civically engaged leader. Not to go off of all of the amazing things that I just listed, Aarti, wow, but before I get a chance to breathe, I'm going to go on and continue with your bio. So Aarti is what we'd call an unsung hero who has taken her unconventional background to become a passionate trailblazer, outspoken, game-changing woman leader, and innovative social entrepreneur. UK born and raised in New York, New Delhi, India, and 37 years in Irvine by her divorced doctor mother, grandparents, and a blended stepfamily, she has turned her life's many tragedies into triumphs. From victim to victor by reinventing her purpose with positivity, never losing sight of her strength and signature Indian American sanskar and identities. A true BBCD. What's that, you may ask? A British-born confident Desi. Aarti, it's wonderful to hear about all the amazing work that you continue to do.
Thank you, dear. It's a lot to live up to. As you know, it's one thing to see it in black and white paper, but it's another to have someone else say all those things about you. And I'm sitting here going, wait, that's a lot to live up to. I think I just want to chill with my life.
No, I think you are doing some wonderful work. And let's start with what your journey was like and what led you to create B Sanskriti Legacy.
Well, I was thinking about this question, and if there was one point in my life that led me to create B Sanskriti Legacy, and there maybe was one poignant moment, and that was last year in September when I started the LLC, which is B Sanskriti, and then B Sanskriti Legacy, the nonprofit, it started in October. And what I like to say was I birthed my child finally. I don't have kids. And I'd been waiting to have kids my whole life and it didn't happen. So birthing B Sanskriti Legacy was like birthing my child. And I have been in new mom glow ever since. And really B Sanskriti Legacy was just that. B for Bharti, meaning ancient Indian or traditional Indian. Sanskriti meaning culture or heritage. And then legacy. And that basically described my life. And I thought, well, gosh, if I'm not going to have a child of my own, then this is going to be my child. And this is going to be what I raise for the rest of my life. And it's not just going to be my legacy, though, it'll be everyone's legacy. And it also, this legacy name and the name legacy in the nonprofit also is a representation of every part of my life coming into one big confluence right around August, September of last year, 2022. So it's my whole life in one packaged nonprofit, and it's everyone's legacy. So
That's
it's
wonderful.
Really every part of my life. Yeah.
That's amazing. So now going back to what you mentioned about parts of your life. So what kind of experiences growing up as an Indian American or you being a global citizen, if I may add, that contributed to wanting you to preserve our sanskar?
So I was very fortunate to have the best of both worlds in my upbringing, equally Indian, equally American. I've been raised here in the US most of my life, only 5 years in India in childhood, which was elementary school, second grade through half of sixth grade. And it was really many life challenges in my childhood. My parents got divorced when I was 7. And before then I was born in UK in Newcastle upon Tyne. Then we moved to Buffalo, New York when I was like 5 months old, was there for 6 years. And then it's at that time that my mom left with me and my little 1-year-old baby brother for New Delhi, India. with just 2 suitcases, 2 little kids, the clothes on our backs, and to start a whole new life. And, under many adverse childhood experiences, I didn't know that I was having those because my childhood then in India was very full of life with living in a joint family, living with extended family. And then I got introduced to the culture there. And so in India is where I learned to read, write, speak Hindi, learned Punjabi, learned our festival, played and celebrated our festivals, and really lived a very vibrant childhood without knowing what adverse childhood experiences or trauma was. I remember going to the Air Force School and participating in Founders Day. And, in India, you get ranked, you get like a first, second, third rank. And I think once in third grade, I placed first in like the half yearly exams and like third in the final exams. And that was a big deal because you get to go up and you get recognition. But I was a very average student otherwise. And my average student, grades continued here in school. We moved to Irvine, California at age 11 when my parents were going through custody issues, and finally custody was sorted out. So then I ended up in a blended step family. So from living in a joint extended family in India to a blended step family here, and then living in a joint family with my mom, with my nana, nani, my grandparents and my mom. So I became a very resilient kid and learning to live in different types of family situations. But that is also what acculturated me. My grandparents and mom spoke Hindi with each other at home. So I was very good at languages and I picked that up. So I became multilingual. I can understand Urdu as well and speak some Urdu. When you're from New Delhi, you kind of speak Hindi, Punjabi, Urdu. And then I became a teacher here and learned Spanish. So I feel like I'm very multicultural, but I was able to be multicultural because in my family, I grew up very bicultural. So I'm totally what they say. I am a British-born, British-born, American-raised, confident Desi.
A new acronym for Aarti.
Yeah.
So going more into your aspects and experience as a school teacher, I'm going to go back and to inform our listeners. So Aarti nearly has 30 years of experience as a school teacher, educator, social causes advocate, dharmic spiritual practitioner, and 32 plus years as an Indian dancer, last with NDM, which has helped dedicate her life purpose to uplifting human consciousness by starting her new nonprofit, Be Sanskriti Legacy. Her organization's mission is to promote wellness through ancient tradition, Indian arts, spirituality, seva, active civic duty for wellness policies in government, sustainable animal compassion, and youth internship opportunities to become responsible, conscious leaders for tomorrow. She also ran twice for local elections in 2020 and became an Indian American community leader with longtime leaders of the India at 75 committee organizing 4 successful Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav events celebrating India's 75th independence. And her unique story is also in the U.S. Library of Congress's StoryCorps archives. So Aarti, we went into a huge kind of timeline of all these achievements that you've achieved since becoming a school teacher that you mentioned. We kind of just jumped right into all of the amazing accomplishments you've had in nonprofits, government, in our cultural organizations and otherwise. So what inspired you to take part of the Be Sanskriti legacy to create positive change? Was it all these experiences with other nonprofits?
It was really watching my mom and my grandmother, my nani, just their service in our household. They were committed to seva and service every step of their life, every day, that I lived with them and was raised by them. So we were the world family headquarters. In our home, we had 3 generations of seniority in our family. My nana was the eldest, my nani was middle, but she raised all of her brothers and sisters. My mom was the eldest of her generation, and then I'm the eldest of my generation. So imagine three generations of seniority in one family household. So we were the world family headquarters. Everybody would come through our door. We were a revolving door. mi casa es tu casa, right?
Right.
And open door policy. So everybody, I watched them, my mom and my grandparents, where everybody would come through our door and they were family. And that is what I was raised on. We also had a childcare, daycare in our home, where my nanny ran. And so in our family, we raised other people's children, babies on up. And we just became so family oriented and loving children. And I lived in a selfless household. Nanima became Mummy Ji to everyone. Nana Boji became Papa Ji to everyone. My mom, she had her doctor career and she would go off to work, and it was just, whatever happened in the home is whatever happened. But we always had a full table with chai and snacks and garma garam, pakode ban rahe hain, and naan khatai ban rahi hai. Nanima is serving something fresh she has just made. And everybody came to our home for chai time. Chai time at our home was so famous. And especially Fridays at like 5:30, my mom's friends would come, guests would come, visitors would come. And so we kind of had the world in our home. So it never felt like it's only my home or just only belongs to my family. We were like a world family in my house. So that was a big part of my natural upbringing, with giving back to others, living for others, doing for others. The other thing that really, a second really huge impact on my life, was my mom was really into spirituality. When she moved here to California in 1983, she had to start her doctor career all over again for like the third or fourth time in her life. So she worked her butt off for just under 2.5 years, selflessly, for 7 days a week. And she was able to buy a new home in Irvine with that sacrifice and all that, investment. She then brought us here from India, and she was able to do that because she ended up on the spiritual path when she landed here. So she came into self-realization fellowship, meditation, and under Guru Paramahansa Yogananda. And meditation and spirituality and breathing exercises changed her life and helped give her the strength to withstand many, many traumatic hardships. So the minute my brother and I landed here, I was 11, my brother was 6. She put us into spirituality. So I started on the path of self-realization fellowship. And I went to Sunday school. I went to youth camp, summer youth camp, for 5 years. So at age 11, I came into the spiritual path. We also came into our Havan group, our Arya Samaj Havan group. So I've been in the Arya Samaj Havan group ever since, 35, 36 years. And around age 18, we had gurus from India who would come into our home and do satsangs and yoga, meditation, pranayam, conscious living, Brahmapadesham, universal principles of life and living. Gurujis would do those types of discourses and satsangs and classes and courses. So we would volunteer. And so I had the good fortune to have gurus from India come into our home in Irvine. And I grew up with this Brahmapadesham and spiritual living. And we would make vegetarian food, raw vegetarian food. And it was all around volunteering. So it just became, who I was. And then I ended up on the teaching path in those college years. I loved working with children. I knew I was going to work with children and youth my whole life, because I would get bored out of my mind working with adults only. And I ended up becoming a special education teacher. So that in and of itself, being a special ed teacher for kids with learning disabilities, is a little bit more of a selfless teaching path. And I found that I was very patient, tolerant, resilient from like almost day one. And that put me on the volunteering path. And then I naturally automatically sought out nonprofits to volunteer with, like volunteer wherever I could. And I don't think I've stopped volunteering ever since my teenage years, at least since age 18. So I think I was inadvertently meant to end up on the path of creating my own nonprofit organization. So fast forward till now, here we are. I have my own nonprofit, and it's my Sanskriti, it's my legacy, it's my child I've birthed, but it's everyone else's legacy because other people have kids, and the focus is to leave a true legacy of well-being for everyone's kids. So I feel like everyone's kids are my kids. So yeah.
That's amazing. So we go on this whole journey of your life path and how all these different nuances from your elders that you kind of picked up and all the other gurujis that came into your household, where you picked up different pieces and amalgamated that into your own personality and what you put forward into Be Sanskriti Legacy. So now what are the essential aspects of Be Sanskriti Legacy specifically?
So there are many, like I said, Be Sanskriti Legacy brings all parts of my life into its mission. And the main mission is wellness. And this is something I really had to think about because I've always been like a disability rights advocate. Then I went into mental health advocacy because so much of my life was rooted in adverse childhood experiences that created trauma. But I just had a lot of tools to bounce back on to become resilient. But not everyone has the good fortune of being given those tools to bounce back from. So, I really just felt like let me not focus so much on Indian culture and promoting Indian culture, because that's initially what I was going to do, was promoting Indian culture for the cause of wellness. So when I flipped it and I said, okay, we're promoting wellness and positive cultural exchanges through the medium of ancient and traditional Indian culture, then I knew that the goal was wellness. So that's the main mission. And it has 4 pillars underneath it. So when we say that we're promoting wellness and positive cultural exchanges through ancient traditional Indian culture, there are 4 areas of focus. The very first one is one of the largest, most beautiful aspects of our culture, which is the arts. So all arts, dance, music, martial arts, Sanskrit language arts, visual arts, film arts, telling the authentic story and history and documentary about, Indian culture. So the arts. And that is so important and meaningful for me because along with spirituality, when I moved here at age 11, mom put me into Kathak dancing. So Kathak became my other outlet and my other foundation. And Kathak led me onto a 32-year Indian dance journey where I could emote on stage performing all the emotions that I wasn't able to verbally express, or I wasn't able to verbally emote in a safe space. The stage and dance became my safe space. So 32 years I danced, and I did Kathak, I did Hindi filmy dance. Filmy dance is what it was called back then. I did Bhangra, and I taught Bhangra. And then I did Bollywood. So Bollywood is what, I ended with about almost 7 years ago. So believe it or not, I've been on a journey of no Indian dance for the last 7 years. So I'm kind of going crazy. I need to get back to Indian dance. But the Indian arts were such a huge part of my life. And so I knew that had to be the medium through which wellness was going to be promoted. The second pillar of focus is spirituality, or mindful conscious living. So because I had the good fortune of being exposed to meditation, pranayam, brahmopadesham, raw food eating, vegetarian food, eating lifestyle, that yogic lifestyle I didn't know a life without it. And so I knew that, in the mainstream here, everyone knows or does yoga and some form of meditation. So because it's already so popular in the American mainstream culture, Indian-based spirituality and conscious mindful living had to be the second area of focus because it's already popular. So why not really bring the ancient traditional Indian techniques to bring wellness? The third area of focus is, of course, seva, or community service, which is what a lot of my life was brought up on. And so many people now find joy in serving others, when you live for others, you serve others, it takes the attention away from you and your own trauma or victimhood. And you can really become more of a victor by healing yourself and healing others. So that's why community service and seva is such a huge part of B Sanskriti legacy. The fourth one was an interesting path that I ended up on, maybe back in 2016 when I became interested in local Irvine politics. And then I myself got involved in supporting someone's local campaign back in 2018. And then in 2019, I went to all the, local Democratic Party events and meetings and clubs and got to learn about civics and civic engagement, 101, 201, 301, by immersing myself in it, by attending Democratic Party club meetings. And then in late 2019, early 2020, I decided to run for local elections twice. And in 2020, at the presidential election time, I ended up I ran for a local race, like Community College Board of Trustees. I got over 63,000 votes in that race. I didn't win it, but that made me the second highest Indian American vote getter in all of Southern California. And so with that much political capital, I said, I've learned so much about the importance of voting and exercising our right and privilege to vote in America. We don't understand how powerful that is. I learned it. I learned the power and the impact of it. So I said, okay, we need to leave a legacy of responsible social and civic engagement for young people. That was a huge thing I learned. And that was my promise to myself, that I would use the 63,076 votes I got into responsible social civic engagement. So those are the 4 areas of focus. And we have events based around these 4 pillars and membership based around that, and collaborating with other organizations. And this B Sanskriti legacy baby is just beginning to leave her legacy.
That is so beautiful. I love the 4 pillars. Like we mentioned, it seems very focused, but very universal at the same time. And my next question for you is, you spoke about upcoming events. So what is the next event for your org?
Oh my gosh, events are a lot of work.
I bet.
And I know I'm saying, when I started B Sanskriti Legacy, I thought, okay, how do I want to do this? And I said, okay, Indian culture is so vibrant. And I grew up on all our festivals. And as an Indian dancer, we celebrated all our festivals through dance and all different mediums of dance, classical dance, folk dance, popular dance, all of which I did. So I knew that, in India, every day there's a festival, and there are certain very key, vibrant festival months. So I started looking at all the Indian festivals, and I thought, okay, I narrowed it down to 6 main festival months a year: January, March, April, and then August, October, and November. So the first event we did was India Winterfest in January, celebrating all the winter harvest festivals, Lodi, oh my gosh, all the other ones. Makar Sankranti, Uttarayan,
Holi.
Bihu. Holi comes in March.
Yeah.
So we first did India Winterfest in January. Then I wanted to do Holi. But then there were so many other Holi events already happening in the community that by the time my Holi event was going to come around in April, everyone would have already done them, and it was going to become a little redundant. So then I said, okay, I won't do Holi Fest, and I won't do Spring Fest in Holi in March or Spring Fest in April. What I'll do is, this year we're just trying out our events. So we're going to do in May, we're doing a India Fest, celebrate Mother Earth. So it's on Mother's Day, Sunday, May 14th. And in honor of mothers, we're going to be celebrating both mothers and Mother Earth. So it's not what I initially planned. I wanted to do both a Holi event and a Spring Fest with celebrating all the spring festivals. But I wanted to be authentic and not just repeat. I wanted it to be different. I wanted our events to be mainstream for the cause of wellness, physical, social, mental wellness. But along that comes earth wellness as well. So I started thinking, how do we differentiate our events from other community events where we're not repeating the same thing? And we're celebrating Mother Earth on Mother's Day at the beach in the 5 elements of nature: water, earth, sky, fire, and air. And it's a lot of work, but it's going to be so exciting. We're going to have an eco-friendly beach bazaar, and Mothers and Mother Earth both will be celebrated together because they both go hand in hand.
Absolutely. So I was just going to say it has all the elements that we require. And my next question for you is, where can people find Be Sanskriti Legacy online to buy tickets for this festival that's coming up? And where can we learn more?
Well, I wish I could say that our website is ready, but it's still in progress. But we do have and I'm writing it down here in the chat box. We have an Eventbrite link, and this is a short version of it. So all the information for the event can be found on this Eventbrite link for India Fest Mother Earth. And website is in progress right now. And then you can also find us on social media. So on Facebook, you can find us on Be Sanskriti. That's the Facebook page. It will change to Be Sanskriti Legacy, but right now it's just Be Sanskriti on Facebook. And then on Instagram, Be Sanskriti Legacy. And
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put all of that information in the description box. But for our audio listeners, you can find Be Sanskriti on Facebook, where it is Be Sanskriti. On Instagram, it's Be Sanskriti Legacy. And also, you can feel free to follow Aarti's personal pages for more information on Facebook and on Instagram while we wait for the website to load, as well as we'll post the event link onto the description box below. So that's it for Activate Your Listening on Rukus Avenue Radio with the founder and CEO of Be Sanskriti Legacy, Aarti Kaushal Chopra. Thank you so much for your time and educating our listeners for the amazing work that you are doing and you continue to do. And we look forward to staying in touch and obviously seeing what amazing events are lined up for Be Sanskriti Legacy.
Thank you so much, Priyadarshini and Rukus Avenue Radio. This has been a true honor. And I'm so excited that you, as the next generation, are carrying this forward on Rukus Avenue Radio, which is my generation. It's great to see, them continuing this legacy from my generation. So this is a legacy being born right here. So happy and thrilled to be a part of it. Thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Aarti. All right. So Rukus Avenue Radio listeners, this is your correspondent, Priyadarshini G. Roy, signing off with Aarti Kaushal Chopra, the CEO and founder of Be Sanskriti Legacy. Check out her website and details in the description for more information on her upcoming event. Until next time.
Rukus Avenue Radio.